Hi, I'm Roy Collin, the host of the podcast. You can find everything about me by scanning the QR code there or going to roycollin.com. And you'll find my six podcasts: the Podfather, helping people become podcasters; the Awakening, exposing fraud and corruption, but with solutions; the Crypto, all things blockchain technology; meditation podcast; speaking podcast; and the Learn Polish podcast. You can also help the show by actually making a donation, visiting the store, or helping my sponsors. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. My guest is the crypto trainer that entry-level investors deserve. With a keen focus on breaking down the barriers to entry, he is committed to demystifying crypto investing. And for those that might have heard of him before, he was on episode number 74, which was released on the 28th of June. He's back by popular demand. Please welcome Dr. Daniel Dial.
Hello, Roy.
So looking forward to this, and we've had a very nice conversation prior to the thing, which it's a good way of connecting because it doesn't always happen. Sometimes people just come on and go, but we've connected. I know that just from the previous conversation that we had, just the way that you explained things, and when I was doing the research, it was fascinating. And I know that so many people that with the way crypto is, they either say, I'm in or I'm not. I don't get it. It's frustrating and everything. And I can honestly say that you actually simplify what's complex. So where I'd like to start is, can you see it actually becoming easier? Because I know there's some people, they're trying to create systems to kind of simplify it. Can you see have you been looking at anything that's being created that's actually going to make it easier for mass adoption?
Absolutely. I think the whole direction of crypto is just about the UI, the user interface, and the projects that are going to last the test of time. And just so we're clear, there's a bazillion projects in crypto, and probably 99% of them are eventually going to go to zero. Just so we're all clear, right? Like we understand that the big ones, Bitcoin itself is no longer used or even going to be thought of as a digital currency. It's now more thought of like gold in terms of a way of storing generational wealth, a way of storing value. So Bitcoin itself will not be used as a tradable currency. It's not there to replace fiat. Originally, that was the concept, but over time it's evolved. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin, just like a finite amount of gold. It's now, the spot ETF was approved. We talked about that the last episode. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with what a spot ETF is, it's basically it allows the average American to walk into a financial institution and actually buy Bitcoin without having to go through the hassle of opening up a centralized exchange or a hot wallet and moving money online, quote unquote. It allows them to go in just like you would buy stock. You can buy Bitcoin through a financial institution. When they approved the spot ETF in January of 2024, it changed the game in crypto, right? Because it's basically saying, okay, we now recognize this thing as an asset. And it really sort of opened the way for a massive run, as where everyone can see now. Bitcoin just hit 100,000. Last year this time it was not 100,000. I think it had just rallied up. So basically, last summer it was under 30,000 or under 20 or 30,000.
I think it went to 20 because I remember one friend of mine, he bought it at 30 and it went to 20. I don't know, was that last year? I mean, it wasn't that long back. Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago, right? It was mid-October of 23 where they announced the spot ETF was going to be approved and everybody got excited, where Bitcoin started to rally. And then in January, it got approved, it went sideways, and then it started rallying all year. And now it just broke 100,000 last night. So it's a pretty monumental event. And because of the spot ETF, it's unlikely to see it drop down the way it used to drop down. So what you would happen in crypto, as we talked about before, comes in cycles. What happens is you get 2 or 3 years of a bear cycle where there's really no interest in crypto. And then there's this bull run that happens. And it goes anywhere from six to 18 months where a tremendous amount of money goes into crypto and people are making money left, right, and center. They're investing in stuff. It goes up, they sell, they invest in something else. And then it just goes up and it goes up, goes up. And at the peak of the bull, it starts to come down and a lot of money exits crypto. And that's really been the bull and the bear cycle. It's not going to be the same anymore. This bull run is projected to be the last and the biggest bull run ever, which is why we've been encouraging people to get in and invest as soon as possible because things are actually picking up right now. And the reason it's likely to be the last big bull run is because at the end of the bull run, it's unlikely for all the money to leave crypto. Why? These spot ETFs. So people who are investing in crypto, these are investing long term. They're not looking to get in and get out like it was in the past. So Bitcoin is unlikely to drop like it did in the past. Ethereum, which is the silver. So Bitcoin's gold, Ethereum's silver, right? And that is now an approved ETF. And that's unlikely to drop the way it did in the past. Now they're starting to make ETFs for other assets, such as Solana will be approved. Ripple is being talked about being approved. So the more they make these things, accessible to the average person who's investing long term, the less likely you're going to see a mass exodus out of the bigger plays in crypto, right? So we still know that the smaller market cap plays will give you bigger returns that are higher risk, just like in the stock market, and the bigger market cap plays are going to give you less returns but more security, just like in the stock market. So for those of you that didn't follow or didn't get a chance to hear us last episode, Roy, do you mind if I give them a little background about how I invest in crypto and how I teach?
I mean, listen, listeners come and go. So, and even when they are repeat listeners, it's always great to hear something again.
Absolutely. So I tell everybody, forget crypto as an investor. So just so we're clear, listen, I am a fan of decentralization versus centralization. So the whole principle of crypto, if I'm going to get into the 1 minute quick sort of like, why is crypto so, why are there so many people passionate about cryptocurrency? The reason people get really passionate is because it's a decentralized system. The banking system is centralized. The governments are centralized. Everything is centralized in our world right now. And the problem with centralization is one entity controls everything. So for instance, in Canada, and I don't know if we talked about this last time, in Canada, we had our truckers went on strike a year or two ago, a couple of years ago, and they just went on strike and they went to our government and they're like, hey, we're going on strike. So as Canadian citizens who are empathetic to their needs, we donated. Some people send $20, some people spend $50, $100. Some people's uncles, parents are like, I'll send them some money. Or if you had a friend who's in that world, you send them a little bit of money. It's not a big deal. It's what we do. We support each other. Well, the Canadian government decided, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to freeze the accounts of every Canadian citizen that donated to the truckers. And they froze our bank accounts like this. And you're locked out of your entire money. Can't get access to your own funds. This is in Canada. And this is happening around the world. Problem is, it's centralized. So if you have $1 million in the bank and they go, we're going to hold your funds, you can't access your money. How in the world is that even allowed, or are we accepting that? There are some countries where the banks have shut down and taken the entire population's monies with it. So if you had your entire life savings in the bank, they've shut down and go, all right, too bad, it's gone. And that's centralization, and decentralization is the opposite. Nobody can ever touch it. And that's where the whole blockchain technology, and we won't get into that today, but blockchain technology is a really fancy way of saying, hey, it's an open system. Everybody sees if Daniel has $10,000 and I send Roy $5,000, I have 5,000 and Roy has 5,000. And it's logged on the blockchain for the world to see, and nobody can ever contest it. If you had property logged on the blockchain and they're doing these things called real world assets or moving into the blockchain, complete transparency. So you don't go to the government one day and go, I own my house, and they go, oh, we lost the paperwork. Maybe you don't own your house. Maybe somebody changed something in the background. All of a sudden you don't. This whole thing with identity theft in the blockchain, there's no such thing because everything is transparent. It's logged. It can't be undone. And that's the nature of decentralization. And that's why it's so appealing to people within the crypto industry. Now, put that aside. For me, I'm an investor. I'm in this to make money. Now, I love decentralization and the principle of it, but that's not what drew me to invest in crypto. I'm not here for the long term. Oh, let's do it. I think it's fantastic, but I'm in here to make money. As a dentist who practiced and worked really, really hard to earn my income, and it was I chose a really difficult path, which I enjoyed passionately, but I put a lot into to make my income. I looked at, okay, I want to invest my money. So, I looked at stuff like I'll have some real estate. I don't manage it with my brothers because if I was to manage it, it would take a tremendous amount of time. I got in the stock market. I got my ass kicked. Absolutely. I mean, I'm fighting to make 10 or 20% a year. And then I get into crypto and I am doubling my investment in a month. And I'm like, this isn't real. And doubling and going 3x, 4x, 2x. I'm like, this can't be real. The thing I love about crypto is when you're inside crypto and you understand how it works, making successful investments is easy. It's not hard to make money in crypto. The difficult thing in crypto is learning the trade, is getting from the outside to the inside, understanding all the nuances of centralized exchanges, of assets, of liquidity, all these things that the barrier to entry to crypto is very high. See, the barrier to entry to stocks is easy. You have a bank account, you open up an investment account, you buy Tesla, you buy Apple, it's easy. The barrier to entry to crypto is very, very, very high. And that's what keeps people from getting in. However, when they get in, right, there's a million and one different things you can do to make money. What I focus on, Roy, and what I try to tell people who are busy, who have jobs, careers, lives, I work with, as you know, busy professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners, and anybody who doesn't want to make who has a full-time gig, who's not looking to spend hours and hours a day and wants to make money in their investments. I say, okay, you get into crypto, there's 101 things you can do. This is how I view crypto. I view it just like the stock market. So most of your listeners are familiar with the stock market. And even if you're not, stock market isn't hard. So generally speaking, on the stock market, if the stock market crash, which means if all the values of the companies go down really low, today, Roy and I would be like, hey, stock market crashed last night. Roy, what should we buy? Be like, hey, I want to buy Apple. I want to buy Tesla. I want to buy Google. I hate, Facebook. So I'm not buying Meta. Oh, I like Samsung. We pick the big projects on the stock market that we believe will rebound and do well. Would you agree, Roy?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not hard to buy them. You go, okay, I want to buy Tesla. Well, you go to the stock market, there's a ticker that says TSLA. We buy some. Apple, AAPL. We buy some. Google, I think it's called Alphabet or whatever, right? You buy some. You buy and you wait. And if you buy in the stock market and you wait 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, the prices go back up. And then if we sell after a few years, our profit is the difference between where we bought them and where we sold them. And that's our profit. Pretty simple in the stock market. So if the stock market crashed, we'd buy a bunch of stuff, we'd wait a few years, we'd sell, we'd make a bunch of money. It's exactly what I teach in crypto. But in crypto, we have a cheat sheet. In crypto, we know the bear cycles where all the money is down. It's kind of like a stock market crash. And then we know the bull cycle, which is where everything goes up. We want to buy low, we want to sell high, and we want to keep the difference. That's all we do in crypto. That's it. Now, don't get confused in crypto. When you go look at all these letters, BTC, ADA, XRP, LTC, ETH, forget those. Think of just like a ticker in the stock market. They're just letters that represent the project in crypto. Doesn't matter if it's a token, doesn't matter if it's a coin, don't forget all that. It's just a ticker that represents a project, right? We want to find the tickers. We want to find the projects that are going to go up a lot. So I've done all the work for you in my program. I have it done for your program. It's a 1-week program. It's actually a 90-day program, but I teach everything over 1 week. And the rest of the time I support people because it just needs a ton of support. But it's a done for you program. I have a golden list of 15 to whatever number, I don't know how many, over 15 assets that I've tracked and I've vetted and worked with all the experts that are going to do incredibly well. If you track these and how well they're doing, they've already doubled since the last 30 days, and they've got way more X's in them. So at the end of the day, I teach people what to buy, how to buy, when to buy it, where to buy it, how to sell, where to sell, and how to move money on chain, how to move money off chain. So it's a done for your program. So I take all the thinking out of it. And you don't have to do what I do, but I'll teach you everything, share with you what I do, share with you what I'm buying to make it simple. But we're just going to buy these tickers, these projects that we believe in, that I vetted, and we're going to buy them. I teach people how to buy them, where to buy them. You're going to hold them. And over the next 3 to 6 months, they're going to go up 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x, and more. And then I'll teach people how to dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. We're going to buy low, we're going to sell high, we're going to keep the massive amount of difference in between. That's it. And now there's 17 other things you can do in crypto world. You can do yielding, staking, mining, farming. There's all these different things. We're not getting into that. It's not realistic for a dentist, for you, for most of your listeners, Rory, who have full-time gigs. they're not going to spend the next 5 years learning how to do this stuff. They want to learn quick. I had a school teacher on day 8. Most of my clients, they're investing. She's already up 2x her portfolio and she's beside herself. And she should be, because it's not hard. She's like, this is way easier and way easier than I thought, because I demystify it. I take away all the jargon. I just keep it nice and simple. You're just like investing in the stock market. You're investing in crypto. We're going to do it smart. We're going to do it strategic. We're going to make sure you know what you're doing. You don't get robbed, right? Because it's really scammy, right? And I'm not taking people's money. No, you pay me for the program, of course, but I teach you how to invest your own funds and how to put a ton of security to prevent anybody from ever getting you. And that way you do it yourself. And I have the first program. I have an advanced program. Most people don't need the advanced program. Yeah, you can make more doing an advanced program after the basics, but again, you don't need it. You do so well in just the basics program that, that I'm proud to be able to help people make life-changing money in a short amount of time. And I'm very proud to be able to support people do that. It excites me, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you really simplify it. Like, you don't just make assumptions and start using terminology, assuming that the person knows. Because even now, when we mention something, you actually go back a step and you explain it. And you mentioned about the truckers. Like, people don't realize that your money in a bank is not yours. I've had over 100 court cases, and I've had my account blocked, emptied so many times. And trying to get it back is impossible, even when they're fraudulent. You go to Cyprus, like, they took people's money in Cyprus. In Greece, you're only allowed to take out something like €50. So people think you've got money. And if you look at what the protection, I think it varies around the world, but it's something like €50,000. So if you've got 250 grand, does that mean I'm only covered 50 grand? And as I say, good luck getting it if a bank fails, because can you ever trust the government anywhere in the world? So
No.
that way, using the crypto is basically saying, okay, no, it's in my hands, not in yours.
No one can take it away. When you have your assets on chain, no one can ever take it away. It's yours permanently. And it's a beautiful thing in terms of self-control. It's terrifying what you just said, Roy. The fact that, in a first world country, your assets are in a bank, and then you have to fight. In Canada, if I go to withdraw money, I get treated like a criminal. Like, it's my money. I have
They ask, what are you doing with your money?
20-year-old high school graduate basically interrogating me what I want to do with my own money. It's like, no, I don't have to. Yeah, you do. You have to fill out a form. Like, no, yes, I have to answer all these questions, or they won't let me take my own money. It's absurd. But this is the way the world is moving. It's a trajectory. It's a trend. And the reason they get us, Roy, is they do it slowly. It's like, what is it? I think if you're boiling a lobster or something, or a frog, I don't know what it is. I don't eat frog. I actually don't eat lobster, even though I'm from Nova Scotia, you guys, which is on the east coast of Canada. We have world famous lobster. We ship all over the world. We ship lobster, and I don't eat it. But the thing at the end of the day is they turn it up slowly, so you never actually feel the water getting hotter, and that's how they boil them. And I think that's what happens to populations in countries. They get us slowly, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. Next thing you know, we're all okay with going to the bank, being interrogated for taking our own money. Next thing you know, you're okay with storing your money in a bank that doesn't want to give it back to you. Right? In those countries you mentioned, you could have, like, I've had relatives working in different countries internationally who were in the oil and gas, who made copious amounts of money, sent it to their native country, and can't get it out. They're allowed $50 US a month, and they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars lying around they'll never see again. That's permanent. Those are very real situations. Yeah. Yeah.
Heard of one just recently, a shopping loyalty card. The guy got a call from the IRS. I don't know, was it in the UK or in the States? I think it was the UK. And basically, where did you get this money that you're able to buy the shopping? Like, so the loyalty cards with the big supermarket chains, they're giving it to the IRS and the government.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and it's tracking everything.
Yeah. So that's why I know a lot of people are kind of reverting to cash. But I mean, the reality is when this system is simplified, because I know there's ways, like even with the Bitcoin, that you can kind of pay in Bitcoin. There's some countries that they're kind of implementing that. When you see more of that, that will kind of give us confidence, because they're trying to bring in the digital currency, not like crypto, but their own way. And they will turn off the tap, because apparently, like in China, I mean, I'm getting mixed views on it, but it's like you cross the road when you shouldn't, and then they just take it out of your account. You're not allowed to use public transport and things like that. So when they have full control of your cash, I mean, like I said, I know what it's like when they just empty it, and they don't care that you can't put, food on the table or whatever. It just happens that you've got other assets away that you can use. Like, they don't care. So it is terrifying, and they're trying to implement this digital currency around the world. So it's like, yeah, that's why it's time to start learning about this.
In Canada, they're getting rid of cash. They're getting rid of cash. They don't want anybody using cash because they want to be, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, guy, but they want to control everything. It's absurd. They want to see every penny that you're spending, every penny that you're earning, and all being digital and all controlled by them, which is why the some administrations really go anti-crypto. And I'm thinking about crypto. Yes, there in the next couple of years, you're going to see all the Visas, like they're already coming out with Visa and MasterCards that are cryptocurrency based. They're coming out with exchanges, are coming out their own cards. So there's more and more stuff moving, but it's a slow transition. It takes time for people to trust, to adopt, for people to understand, what, even how to move funds online. And listen, as a dentist, you guys, and I'm talking to your listeners, 5 years ago, you asked me what crypto was. It's abstract. It means nothing to me. It meant nothing to me. It's a word that meant nothing. What pissed me off, to be honest, is I'm sitting there working. I work 7 to 7. Those are long hours. I get up before that, go to the gym, or whatever, sacrifice. Didn't have relationships, didn't do much. That's my own choices. I'm not complaining. I'm not a victim, but I worked really hard. And then I have clients who come in who talk about crypto or friends in crypto. I'm like, oh, yeah, I made whatever doing this. And I'm like, you just made 6 figures off of what? Just understanding a system and clicking a few buttons. Do you know how hard and how much responsibility and how much education and what I had to go through to be able to earn something even close to what they did, clicking a few buttons? I go, this is absurd. If I put a tenth of my time that I spent in my life being really, really good at my profession into doing this, I would do just as good, if not better. But I still put it out of my mind. I was still participating. I still went la 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 la, had the blinders on. No, it's not real. No, it's this. It wasn't until my best friend who lived in Calgary, which is Western Canada, and I've known him since '99. For 25 years, I've known him now, and he's went through 2 or 3 bull runs, and he made 7 figures. And even after he made 7 figures, he's yelling at me. I'm like, I don't know. What didn't I know, Roy? I just didn't want to hear. I didn't want to hear there's an easier way. I didn't want to hear that, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and that it's not about being smart. It's about being intentional. It's about saying enough's enough. Like, I just don't want to listen. And then I got my ass kicked in the stock market. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, you don't understand. And I didn't understand. He goes, you make moves in crypto that will be, you'll never put a penny in the stock market again. You put time and understanding crypto, and it doesn't take long. It takes a tremendous amount of time doing it yourself. If I'm teaching you, it doesn't take long. I'm the only person on the face of the earth doing a live done for you program. The only one. I have people taking other programs. It's just like what Roy said earlier, where they talk above you. They use jargon. They don't meet you where you're at. They kind of assume you kind of know what you're doing. And these people are in these programs like, I don't understand any of it. They go and take mine and they're like, this is where I should start. Because I take people who know nothing, even people who are investing, but I rewind and give them the foundation, give them all the tools so they can do it themselves. And if they want to do it my way, I give them everything I'm doing. And then all I want you to do is be successful and make money. That's it. I take away all the bullshit. Take away all the jargon, all the baloney. There's no confusion. It's just straight. This is what you need to know, the essentials, and then a tremendous amount of support afterwards to ensure every question you have is answered when you get it. And it's not even about me pumping my own tires here. It's about for your listeners, go do it yourself. Go find someone. Just get it if you're interested. It's not for everybody. But if you are and you're struggling in the stock market, you got assets in the stock market sitting there, it's worth your time. Take it from somebody who's been down that road, who absolutely spent way too much money making not enough in the stock market. And, we always go back to, I wish I could. We can't change the past. We can only start today. moving forward and figure out what we want to do. And that's my 2 cents worth. But Roy, please, if there's some questions I can clarify or something, I love talking about it.
What's important there is you're not saying, give me your money and I'll invest for you. You're basically teaching them how to fish, and not only get a fish, but then you're saying, here's a net and then here's a trawler and you can actually do this. Whereas in the real estate market, I mean, I was doing real estate and I'd done a lot on real estate, but I was seeing, because it was my circle, there was loads of different massive developments and taking people's money, and then it just tanked and they didn't get a penny back. And like, there's even people in the crypto world doing that as well. Oh, give us our money, we'll do it for you and everything. And unfortunately, when it comes to money and someone has control of your money, I always say it's like, because I got caught with stocks as well. I mentioned it in the last show, like a few times actually, and I just, this doesn't work for me, that I need to get away from. But it's like, you don't have control of it. Whereas with this, you do. And what I like as well, because a lot of times people come in and they just wait, and they try to time it. And you're like, get your money out, take out your initial investment and stuff like that. And that's for you. But most people, they don't do that. And then they're kind of complaining, oh, it doesn't work. Whereas if they just started off, say, even if it's $100, just say it's 1,000 and they put it in, it goes up to 5 and their 1,000 is taken out, and then they decide to reinvest and do something, they're happy out. And even if it does tank, they're not complaining, because hey, it's play money now at this stage. But a lot of people, they're trying to, and I suppose let's touch on, because there's, say, TikTok or whatever, there's a lot of people out there and they're trying to promote, but a lot of the times, without people knowing, it's actually something that they're involved in themselves, and they're going, you have to get involved in this, and then they pay a load of influencers to do the same, or they give them a load of coins. There's a lot of trickery out there and people fall for it, hence they hate blockchain technology or crypto. So you might just touch on that.
Okay, so I've made 3 YouTube videos, full-length YouTube videos on how people get scammed in crypto, and they're not enough, because 80% of my calls come from people who've been scammed in crypto. So I'm going to do, you said the biggest thing, and for your listeners, Roy hit it on the head. If you take away one message from the entire podcast, if someone says, give me your money and I'll invest it for you, you give them whatever it is you never want to see again. Because I promise you, you will never, ever, 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 ever see your money again. Every single person that says, give me your money, and listen, have the people who are the good people in crypto reach out to me and complain. Find me. I'm easy. Daniel@emcdental.ca. Send me an email and complain for what I'm saying. But every single person I've ever talked to that's given a human being money to invest in crypto has never seen that money again. From $20,000 to $400,000 American, and everything in between. So Roy, high five for you. You're 100% correct. Number 2, yes, the YouTubers and the TikTokers and whatever, there's a very few of them that are actually legitimate, and they actually work with good projects, and they explain to you. 99% of them, as Roy said, they get paid copious amounts in the token that it's called shilling, that they're promoting. And then they shill it. And trust me, they've got tons of stuff. And by the time you start buying, they've already sold and made millions. And then it's all baloney. There's no value in this project. And then everyone realizes it sells it. And then you get left buying at the top till a project goes to zero and you lose, right? So we avoid that stuff. You know, I focus on strategically vetted projects that should do extremely well. Not these fringe stuff. Like, my clients aren't looking to make 1,000 to 1 on $100. Oh, we're just looking, listen, we're not greedy. Don't try to time the bottom. Don't try to time the top. You get 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x. That's a great investment in 6 months for it. Tell me any stock you can go to and be like, I didn't do good. What happened? I doubled my money in 3 months. Terrible stock. Pardon me? There's no such thing as guarantees, but I can easily guarantee 2 or 3 plays that you will at least double your investment in the next 6 months without thinking. Zero. And that's the power of crypto. You can't do that in stock. You have to be careful. If you get greedy and you go after, and that's the thing about money. It's a funny thing about money. When you don't have a lot of money, you try to go for these grand slams, and it's like, oh, I've only got a little bit of money. I need to make 1,000 in returns. But if you invest more money, you don't have to make a big returns. Listen, 2 or 3, don't be greedy. 2 or 3x mean you can't do that in the stock market. We're not looking to crypto to be bazillionaires. We're just saying, hey, I'm investing in the stock market. Maybe you're investing in real estate. Maybe you're just thinking, maybe I'll buy a house Maybe I'll buy a small apartment building or a duplex. Okay, great. What's your down payment? Whatever. Well, why don't you try to nurture that investment and maybe double, triple, quadruple it in the next 6 months, and then take a piece of that and put that down on real estate. All we're saying is there's a unique opportunity in the next 6 months where we can, double, triple, quadruple our investment in a very contained, controlled environment, right? And that's my view on crypto. Let's go in, let's enter at the end of this. Listen, if everything goes according to what the experts say, I'll be out of crypto by next summer, pretty much out of most of my assets. And I'll take my money and do whatever I want to do. I might roll them more real estate, pay off some of this, maybe take some more time with the family, whatever it is I choose to do. I'm not looking at 5 years down the road. This is, to me, is a means to an end. It's like, what are my options? I can invest in real estate, which I do a little bit of right now. I'd like to do a lot more. I can invest in stocks, but what's going to give me, I can open up a franchise. What's going to give me the best return on my investment? And everything I've seen, there's nothing better than crypto in the next six months. I'm not saying 20 years. We can talk about generational wealth. We can talk about Bitcoin. We can talk about storing things for your kids. Absolutely. That's a whole other conversation. But right now, what Roy talked about was, looking to invest. What else can we do with our funds? The other thing, you did hit on something that was very important. It was, number one, don't give your money to other people. Number two, beware of people shilling coins. Listen, I've seen people on TikTok and these people have tons of followers. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're just throwing things out there. One person made a prediction that USDT is going to be $5. Just so your listeners understand how funny that is, let me explain. USDT is the digital version of the US dollar. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 USDT is 1 US dollar. It's always indexed to the same. How is it ever going to be 5? It can't ever go up. It's the same as the dollar. They're saying 1 digital dollar is going to be worth 5 American dollars. No, they're actually an equivalent. That's how little they know what they're talking about. But people don't understand, so they're just listening and they're buying and they're not paying attention. If you're going to invest, take the time, educate yourself, and then invest. Right? Like, I don't know if you throw $1,000 in a stock that you heard a 20-year-old kid talk about on a TikTok video, but you would in crypto. But you wouldn't in the stock market. I guess you shouldn't in the stock market, and you really shouldn't in crypto, would be my opinion. Not financial advice, just my opinion.
And just on that as well, like, because a lot of these people go, oh, there's 1 million people following them. I can get 1 million followers on anything by paying for it. And they're not followers. There's bots and there's systems, and they make it look like they're real people because they can create videos that they've done. All that exists. So you go in and you think, oh, they must be real, or they must be influential because and how you actually do is all you just look at engagement, because sometimes you could have, whether it's TikTok, where you could have 1 million people and there's no engagement whatsoever, and you kind of go,
even if there is, even these celebrities are being duped. Everyone's being duped, and even like, it's such a massive industry. I think it's like, it feels a lot like how it, like, maybe Vegas, or maybe like some sort of, like, it's just this massive industry. And there's some things in it that are really, that if you stick to your guns, you'll do well. But so much of it just attracts a bunch of stuff. Wherever there's money, it attracts crime. Let's just say that. And in Vegas, there's a ton of money. And I think, there's a ton of, at one point, if you watch all the gangster movies, right? All that money attracted a lot of sort of shady characters. And I think crypto is the same way. There's a tremendous amount of pure good in crypto and a ton of money to be made. And wherever there's a ton of money made, it attracts shady characters. And shady characters, they get in there, we call them bad actors. And all they want to do is manipulate and steal from people. It's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. I've been scammed, and I'm pretty knowledgeable, but these scams are elaborate. You have no idea the lengths people will go through to steal your money. It's insane. But that's what they do, a full-time. This is what they do. They create the most elaborate scams. Check out some of my YouTube videos on them. You'll be blown away. My YouTube, I think I am dr. Daniel or IMDR Daniel, something like that.
I
is my
think
handle.
the link anyway.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But like, let us say the things with like the VPNs and also the Wi-Fi, because I know the people, especially not, digital nomads as they call themselves, they're big into crypto, and they're kind of moving around. And like one of the ones is, you go into the coffee shop. But the other thing is, and I'm not sure, because a lot of people, they're going into the Airbnbs and they're using the Wi-Fi and the thing. But if the guy that owns the Airbnb is fraudulent, he can actually be checking your thing as well. So you need to be kind of cautious. So maybe kind of touch on the VPNs and the Wi-Fi and how you can kind of protect yourself.
Absolutely. So what I do is I tell people that I work with, number one, don't trade off your phone. Don't invest off your phone, even though it's so simple. Just don't. My phone's my phone, and phones can be. My wife's phone was somehow when we were traveling or within Canada, they duplicated it. They were trying to use, I think, PayPal or something to withdraw money. It was ridiculous. We got locked out of her own account. Thankfully, the account she had it linked was empty. They were trying to take $5,000 out of her account that only had $2,000 in it. Or they would have. They got her passwords. They got everything. I don't understand how, but they did. So I said, you know what? Avoid your phone because it's just too easy to get it compromised. You don't need a dedicated laptop, just or a desktop. You just do it from home. If you're gonna, even at home, if you're gonna have internet, just make sure it's got a password protected. Install a VPN, which is really, really, really easy. You don't have to be tech savvy. All a VPN says is, hey, we're going to pretend your server isn't at your host. It's going to be somewhere else. And they do a lot of layers of protection, right? And then when you open up, and I teach people, when you open up, what a centralized exchange is for your listeners is all it is a crypto bank account. That's it. Don't worry about all the technical jargon. A centralized exchange is a crypto bank account. And just like you open up a bank account, and you're at the bank, you got to bring ID and you got to sign up some form. Same thing. You just do it all online. You open up a centralized exchange with your ID and all this. But when it's opened up, there is a ton of security features people don't know about. And I teach people how to lock down their centralized exchange to the point that even if you're traveling, even if you're at a coffee shop, which you should never do public Wi-Fi without a VPN, even on the airplane, don't do public Wi-Fi without a VPN. But let's just say you do something stupid and someone gets in and they get all your stuff and they get into your centralized exchange. They get your password and they get your two-factor authorization, which will be on your phone, by the way. So I separate the phone as one piece and then your computer from the other. So they'd have to have both pieces to get in, which is almost impossible. But let's just say worst case scenario, they get your phone, they get your laptop or your computer, and they get into your bank account. I teach people a way to lock it down that they can't get any money off of it. So security is so important, but these are things you don't know when you do it yourself. How would you know? How would you know any of this? Most people just open up something on their phone, dump a bunch of money in, and then all of a sudden have issues. That's just not the way to do it, right? We're not going to put our money someplace that it's like, well, you're going to put your bunch of money in a safe and then leave the safe open and have people walk by. Well, eventually enough people walk by, they're just going to walk up and take it and just take it. And that's what people investing in crypto with no idea of security are doing. It's just, hey, I'm going to put $20,000 in the safe. The safe is going to be closed, but no lock on it. Or maybe the door's open. Or maybe I think there's a lock on it, but somebody could just blow on it and then open it. It's like, no. We're going to do this. I'm going to teach you very simply 5 or 6 or 7 steps that safe is pretty much foolproof. Nothing is foolproof, but it is foolproof, right? Because we don't want it. We don't want it going away, right? We don't want your investments to go away for something that, it's just something silly, right? Which is somebody walking by and going, oh, this guy left the door to his safe open. I'm just going to walk in and take all the money out and leave. And that's akin to trading on your phone with no security. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And Daniel, listen, I didn't even get through half the things because we had a fantastic conversation prior to recording. I'm actually going to try to get you back very soon because I just love the conversations that we have and how you simplify everything. You might let people know, and I'm assuming you can come back soon because we don't want to leave it like the last time. There was too much of a gap. We'll try to get you in very soon and have a part 2 to this because it's too important for people. And I think at this stage now, because of Trump and everything, people now are paying attention and they're seeing it's been mentioned, blockchain, crypto has been mentioned a lot more, whereas before it was kind of like, just for the tech nerds, and now it's like it's out in the open, so people need to learn. So it's a good time to, and maybe New Year's goals and everything, like why not put it on the agenda? Look, I'll do this. So Daniel, you might let people know, how can they find you?
Easy peasy, man. You can email me, Daniel at EMC dental.ca. Oh my God, I almost forgot my own email. Cryptoprogram.ca. I'm in Canada, and there's a bunch of other websites too. Just email me. But it's not hard. Just send me an email. I'll connect you to, some of my stuff. If you want some free training, I'll give you some free training online. Ads free training. There's a bunch of different things I do. But at the end of the day, if you're interested, find out more. Never hurts to educate yourself. Find out more, and then from there, decide if crypto is right for you or not. And if it is, the next step is find out if I'm your guy or not. I don't have to be your guy. Crypto might be right. I may not be the right person for you. Maybe we both are, but just find out more. Email me. It's the easiest thing. DANIEL at emcdental.ca. Easy peasy. Send me an email. Tell me you heard me on Roy's podcast, and we'll have a quick conversation, and you'll see if I can help you get to where you want to go and get inside this crypto dome and make a ton of money.
No, excellent. I'll make sure I put all the links both on the audio and the video. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Okay. My pleasure, Roy. Thank you for having me again.
No problem. So that's all for the Crypto Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on the cryptopodcast.org. Sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rate, and share with your friends, and comment on what we discuss. We love to read your comments. Until next week, take care.
So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As mentioned at the start, you can find my 6 podcasts on roycollin.com or scan the QR code if you're looking to start a podcast or do a podcasting tour, help with that. Also, if you're looking for a virtual assistant, we also have that service. And you can help the show by visiting the store, supporting our sponsors, or making a donation. Until next week, take care.